Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
To understand me, you must understand that I am a Scots-Irish hillbilly at heart. These are the words that J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's vice presidential running mate, wrote in the introduction of his best-selling book, Hillbilly Appalachia. The memoir of his life sold over 1 million copies, secured a Netflix movie deal, and arguably launched his political career. In 2016, as Americans questioned why so many had voted for Donald Trump to become America's 45th president, Vance's book appeared to have all the answers. It was partially down to Appalachia, a region he held dear in his heart but was overlooked and on its knees. When Trump pledged to bring much-needed industry back into the area, it was a lifeline they'd been waiting for. But as much as it may appear that Vance was at one with the community, he never actually lived in Appalachia. In reality, he had been born and brought up in the Rust Belt, rural Ohio, after his grandparents moved there, from Jackson, Kentucky, when they were young. Even so, Vance says he considers the Kentucky Holler in Appalachia as his home, and wrote of the region's trials and tribulations in his nearly 250-page memoir. I identify with the millions of working-class white Americans of Scots-Irish descent who have no college degree, he said in his book. Americans call them hillbillies, rednecks, or white trash. I call them neighbors, friends, and family. But what do the real people of Appalachia think of Vance's account of their homeland and lives? Named after the mountain range which weaves through it, Appalachia is a region that stretches across 13 U.S. states, from New York to Mississippi. Dr. Anthony Harkins, professor of history at Western Kentucky University and co-author of Appalachian Reckoning, A Region Responds to Hillbilly Elegy, tells usnews.co.uk that the area is enormous. He explains, there is a northern Appalachian, southern Appalachia, major cities. It is a place that has been largely defined by extractive industries in the late 19th and 20th century. There was a time when those industries were stable and providing jobs for all the people that needed them. But those industries have been in retreat for most of that history. One was coal mining, which once offered lucrative job opportunities in some of the most rural areas of Appalachia. But the industry has decimated local ecosystems, and when the coal was gone, so were the jobs and money. Since then, Appalachia has been treated as out of sight, out of mind for most Americans, says Dr. Harkins. For the UK, it might be comparable to rural Wales, or northern Scotland. There are proud traditions and musical culture, but outside of the mainstream, unwilling to change, and locked in their ways. In her essay Hillbillies Need No Elegy, Meredith McCarroll, director of writing and rhetoric at Bowdoin College, wrote, "Every now and then, America remembers Appalachia exists." One of those moments came after the 2016 presidential election, as America looked around, a bit stunned, wondering why the rural working class had helped put in office a wealthy businessman from New York. After Vance's book came out, another was released, Appalachian Reckoning, written by McCarroll and Harkins. It was filled with personal essays from real Appalachians, born and raised in the area, in response to Hillbilly Elegy. McCarroll tells usnews.co.uk, Vance spent time with his grandparents in eastern Kentucky and has legitimate ties to that place. My issue with this is that he shifts from I to we and makes wild claims about Appalachian people that simply invites criticism because it is such a broad brushstroke. There is a long history of outsiders misrepresenting the region, offering a very narrow perspective of one hollow to confirm the stereotypes that exist. Vance falls into this pattern of relying on stereotype in Hillbilly Elegy, and those stereotypes do significant damage both in what the rest of the country thinks of the region but also what people within Appalachia begin to think of themselves. Dr. Harkins added, Vance's book says people have chosen to be in poverty or to be in hardship and that they refuse to change, they refuse to adapt, they're violent, they're stubborn and they're ignorant, they're lazy. He put his rags to riches story on top of it. But he understates the benefactors that played a key role in his advancement.